After a difficult and traumatic birth, Mr. Smith decided to adopt a dog for his son, hoping that it would bring some joy into their lives. However, just a few months later, something unexpected happened. On a hot day in Montana, Terry felt uncomfortable. He was worried and wanted to find something to help him relax. It was his son's first birthday, and he wanted to make it special. Terry and his wife had spent months planning a big party for Timmy. But when the day arrived, things didn't go as planned. The last few months had been difficult for Terry, and the idea of having a party seemed impossible. So instead, he decided to take his son out for a walk with the new dog. They walked in the quiet area of Montana and enjoyed each other's company. He focused on what he thought might help his son, the dog. Many people had told him that a pet could help Timmy more than any doctor. Since Terry loved his little son more than anything in the world, he took their advice seriously. When he went to the animal shelter, he saw many cute dogs trying to get his attention. One of them, an English toy terrier, attracted his attention with its curious appearance. Terry had read about different dog breeds and thought this little terrier would be a perfect gift for Timmy. It was quite small, in order not to overwhelm him, but it was also devoted and caring, which is exactly what his son needed. After his baby was born, the hospital was plunged into silence. Timmy cried, and Terry was relieved that his healthy lungs were working perfectly. The birth was traumatic for him and his wife, and for a long time he feared the worst. Timmy was here, and he was alive. The doctors took the newborn to another room without even allowing his parents to hold him first. Terry remembered the look on the nurse's face and the gravity of the situation that shook him to his core. He had never felt such fear in his life. Walking around the waiting room, he vividly remembered how the doctor had told him that Timmy was born with a damaged spine due to complications during delivery. His son was paralyzed from the waist down, and although the chances of him walking were slim, there was still hope. Clinging to this hope, Terry agreed to endless physical therapy sessions, determined to maintain a positive attitude. However, his wife, struggling with everything, blamed herself for Timmy's condition and fell into postpartum depression. She refused to attend therapy sessions, leaving Terry alone to pay the medical bills and take care of Timmy. After hours alone, Terry realized that Timmy needed more stimulation. He offered to get a dog, but his wife was not interested. Since they could no longer have a grand birthday party for Timmy, Terry decided to adopt a dog. He felt that it would bring some happiness into their lives and thought the English toy terrier would be perfect for them. Terry saw the English toy terrier at the shelter and felt sympathy for it. He believed that the breed would be devoted and affectionate, which would be perfect for Timmy. According to experts, playing with a dog can strengthen a paralyzed person's muscles and give them determination to go beyond their limits. Terry knew the dog could not help Timmy learn to crawl or walk, but he believed it could transform his life. After finding the English toy terrier, Terry started the adoption process, which included paperwork. With a mixture of excitement and hope, Terry decided to look for a loving home for his little terrier, Timmy. The thought of bringing a dog home was the beginning of a new chapter in Terry's life. As he drove, his mind filled with thoughts of how Timmy would react to the surprise. Would he be scared of a dog? Or would the dog be afraid of him? Terry was about to find out. Before heading home, he stopped at a local bakery to pick up a cake for his son's birthday. His wife had not baked one, so he chose a cute bow with a dog theme for the cake, adding a personal touch to make the moment even more special. When Terry arrived home with the surprise cake and puppy, he was nervous but full of hope. The next steps were crucial to improving the situation in the house. As he opened the door and let Timmy in, his wife gave him a frown. "Really? What is it?" she asked. "Now I have to take care of the baby and the dog while you spend all your days at the office?" Terry felt hurt, but he didn't let his smile turn into a grimace. He knew that his wife was suffering as much as he was, and that she would need to attend more therapy sessions before she could consider herself on the path to recovery. He calmly explained that he had already spoken to their housekeeper and she would take care of the dog in the mornings, leaving him to take the dog for evening walks. The terrier will be enough to distract little Timmy, so you'll have more time for yourself, he said. She smiled bitterly. Do you want me to leave our son alone with the dog he doesn't know? Terry replied, anger rising in him, but he remained calm. I just want you to watch them while they play. He can't play. He can't even crawl, she snapped at him. He'll learn, Terry said. And it was clear from his tone that the conversation was over. She shrugged and took the cake from him. He went to Timmy's room. As usual, the baby was lying in his crib, clutching a plush toy to his chest. He was babbling, but there was no one around to engage in a playful conversation with him. Terry's heart ached with pity for his son. He rarely left his room and never even met other children. But little Timmy was about to find a friend for life. Terry picked up his son and carried him into the living room, where the dog, still with the cute bow on its head, was waiting. The dog's tail wagged happily as they approached. Timmy's eyes lit up with joy at the sight of the furry friend, and he reached out to touch the terrier's soft fur. Terry set Timmy down and sat behind him, whistling softly to get the dog's attention. The dog approached cautiously, its tail wagging eagerly. The tail. The boy reached out and touched it, heads squealing with delight. For a moment, the room became brighter, and even Terry's wife smiled. As the days passed, the dog became an integral part of their home. Terry made sure to feed the dog every morning before work, and the housekeeper also took care of him, providing him with food and water. However, Terry's wife mostly ignored him. The dog quickly became a playful companion for Timmy, which led to huge changes in his character. The once quiet boy was now constantly laughing and playing with his furry friend on the floor. Terry's wife, hesitant at first, saw the positive effect and began to relax and take better care of herself. Over time, her mood improved and she became more affectionate towards Timmy, even suggesting that they name the dog Duke. Duke's strength grew as the weeks passed. Now he could sit up on his own, and Timmy's laughter filled the house with joy. Timmy ran around the floor after Duke, the dog. The dog realized Timmy's limitations and patiently waited for him to catch up during their games. Timmy's physical therapy sessions showed excellent results. His muscles had strengthened, although he still couldn't crawl, but his progress gave Terry hope. Terry's wife began to communicate more with Timmy and Duke, and they often played together. Seeing how happy his family was made Terry's heart melt. Duke was not just a pet, he was the key to their happiness. As the months passed, Timmy continued to improve. His knees began to bend, and his doctor was delighted. Terry and his wife cried with joy. Despite everything, Timmy made progress. The desire to play with Duke motivated him to strengthen his muscles, and the dog was an incentive for his recovery. One day, Terry called while he was at work. His wife excitedly told him that Timmy was crawling after Duke. It was a miracle. That evening, they celebrated Timmy's progress. They celebrated this event with a cake, and their house was filled with laughter and joy. Soon after, one quiet morning, Duke and Timmy were playing when Duke started barking unusually. Terry, worried, looked in on them and realized something was wrong. Despite the peaceful atmosphere, Duke's behavior hinted that something important was about to happen. At first, Terry was amused by the dog's antics, but then he began to realize there might be more to the situation than being playful. The persistent barking indicated increasing alertness, as if Duke was trying to report something important. Intrigued and a little worried, Terry decided to follow Duke to find out what had attracted his attention. The dog led Terry to the living room, where Timmy was playing with his toy soldiers. Standing on his own 2 feet, Terry felt weak in the knees and had to grab the wall to keep from fainting. It seemed impossible, but his eyes did not lie. His son, who had been paralyzed and the doctors had told him would never walk, was standing firmly on his own 2 feet. Terry started to cry and sobbed loudly. Little Timmy noticed his dad standing in the doorway and frowned, confused by his tears. "Are you sad, Dad?" he asked, putting down the toys and turning to face him. "No, Timmy," Terry replied, wiping his eyes but unable to stop the tears from flowing. "Dad has never been so happy." Timmy giggled and went back to playing. Terry, still not quite believing what he was seeing, ran into the bathroom and almost kicked down the door. His wife came out, still in her bathrobe, and without saying a word, Terry dragged her into the living room. Timmy was still standing and happily playing. Unlike Terry, his wife could not stand on her own 2 feet. In shock, she slid to the floor and began to cry. Now you have both his parents were crying in front of Timmy. "Mum, you too," he said, looking at her and shuffling his feet. Through tears, Timmy's mother asked, "Can you come to me, baby?" Timmy looked at his legs, not sure if he could make it to his mother. At that moment, Duke, the family's dog, came to help. The dog ran to Timmy and let him put his hand on its back for balance. Timmy staggered towards his mom, with Duke cheering him on. The 2-year-old almost fell twice, but Duke stayed close to him, walking slowly with him. When Timmy finally reached his mother, even Duke barked happily. This moment made the family appreciate Duke more than ever. They were overwhelmed with emotion and hugged the little dog tightly. Duke had taught Timmy to walk and had become an important part of the family. In an amazing way, the dog helped Timmy overcome all difficulties and brought joy back into his life. It was his wife's presence that helped Terry feel like his family was united again. Although Duke was a small dog, he did something great, and Terry will always be grateful for him. What do you think of this story? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you.